What's good, y'all? Anderson Emerald here, and I'm gonna take y'all through just a walk through Shibuya here in Tokyo as I talk about this women's 100 meters. Now, I already did an immediate recap video after the men's 100 meters. Check that video out. Literally, I was walking out the stadium, initial reaction. I'm gonna have another video coming out tomorrow. I don't know what time it is in the US. Doing a little more sit down and reflection. But women's 100 meters, this was, I don't know, performance-wise, this was immaculate. Let's just start off. Melissa Jefferson Wooden. Like, if you can get a perfect season, and sorry, my voice is done from screaming, but 10.61 seconds for Melissa Jefferson Wooden. Now, let me just say this before I dive into this recap. Check out Citius Mag, because we just did a full live show where I gave like actual immediate reactions and more in-depth analysis about the women's 100. So go in the description. I got links for you with all of that. But Melissa Jefferson Wooden, 10.61 seconds, championship record to win the gold medal after a actual perfect season in the 100 meters. She is undefeated. Not only is she undefeated, but she's run 10.7 a whole bunch of times. She ran 10.6 on what, 3 occasions now, right? Because she ran 10.65, she ran 10.66, and now she ran this 10.61. In the semifinals, at these world championships, she ran 10.73 seconds. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I don't have only have the final results right now. But like, she has one of the most legendary seasons that we'll compare to, like, maybe not compare to, but Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in 2022. You have Elaine Thompson-Herah in 2021. You have Shacarri Richardson in 2023. Go back and watch that. You have, Flojo in 1988. You have Marion Jones in 1998. Like, go back and look at those seasons, and Melissa Jefferson Wooden is going to be somewhere, amongst those women as one of the greatest 100-meter seasons of all time. I'm not saying they're better. Just saying, I'm not saying she's better than them in terms of their season, but she did amazing. 10.61 now moves her to number 4 all time. Clear number 4, because she has, you have Flojo at 10.49, you have Elaine Thompson-Herah at 10.54, and then you have Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce at 10.60. Melissa Jefferson Wooden is just on the cusp of that. This was with a 0.3 meter per second win, and she did it from gun to tape. Executed perfectly. Amazing start. Sorry about the background noise. Again, just walking through Shibuya. Amazing start. Executed perfectly. Got that blazing start like we know. And then in the second half, she pulled away, maintained, decelerated the least relative to all the other athletes, and crossed the line in first. Like, you're talking about 10.61 seconds. Championship record ahead of Tina Clayton. We'll get to her in a second, who ran 10.76 seconds. Like, it's hard for me. I'm trying to think of like an athlete at some point who dominated a race by that wide of a margin. Now, in 2020, even in 2021 at the Olympic Games, we did see Elaine Thompson-Herah. She ran 10.61 seconds, I think it was. And then Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, she had run 10.73, if I'm correct. And all the other performances, we'd seen like 10.6s or 10.7s, with the 2 women behind. But this was just so dominant, man, so dominant. And I just love that Melissa Jefferson Wooden was able to put together a season and kind of like dispel the doubts of people saying like, oh, are you peaking too soon? Oh, you shouldn't be running too fast too early. She literally timed her season to absolute perfection. Like, absolute perfection. She ran a personal best in the final race of her 2025 season. She did the Grand Slam track races early in the season, was running fast, didn't matter. She did the USA Championships, ran fast, didn't matter. She did the Diamond Leagues in the middle of the season, ran fast, didn't matter. Immaculate performance for Melissa Jefferson Wooden. And I think, like, look at the progression that we've been seeing. And I'm gonna talk about kind of the connection between all the youth that we saw in this race and also some of the veterans that we did see, where specifically with the championship record, Melissa Jefferson Wooden ran 10.61 seconds, breaks the championship record that Shacarri Richardson had set in 2023 when she ran 10.65 seconds, which broke the championship record that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce had set in 2022 when she ran 10.67 seconds, which I think broke the championship record from all the way back in 1998, I think, or 1999. Someone could cross-check me on it, but we've been seeing that kind of progression. Now, let's get to the other performances and also kind of the history in terms of like the changing of a guard in a sense. First here, you had Tina Clayton from Jamaica, 10.76 seconds. She showed up. She showed out from the semifinals. Semifinals, she looked very, very good. 10.76 in this final to get a personal best, timed her season to perfection to get the silver medal, and almost like, I don't know, I feel like Tina and Tia are like competing together in a sense, because we saw Tia make the final at the Olympic Games last year, but she was unable to get on the podium. Now Tina, she's able to make the final this year, and she steps up and gets on the podium, where I can imagine her and her sister really continuing to have a lot of success as we go into the, next couple years into the future. But another athlete just timing her season to absolute perfection. Shout out to, of course, Stephen Francis, who gets another woman on the podium in the 100 meters. Like, this was absolutely amazing for Stephen Francis and for Jamaica. And what Tina Clayton, she's still 21 years old, right? Like, it's just crazy. Again, this is just all initial reaction, kind of just going through as I'm talking about the races and the analysis here. But shout out to Tina Clayton. Third place, Julien Alfred. Now, this was, on paper, this was definitely an underperformance, because Julien Alfred got the bronze medal running 10.84 seconds after all season literally running 10.7s. Like, we had seen her run 10.7 a bunch of times through 2025. I think the first race of the year, she had run 10.8 something, and then after that, she's just clicking off 10.7s. Julien Alfred looked very good in the semifinals, running 10.9, very comfortable, and like, she was cruising in those semifinals. So I thought going into the final, it was Melissa, Julien, and then the rest of the field. But she got ran down badly by Tina Clayton. And I don't mean to say badly, like so toughly, but like Tina Clayton just walked past Julien Alfred, 10.76 to 10.84. Tina Clayton really like passed by Julien Alfred. Now, again, I said this on the Citius Mag podcast, so definitely check out my full thoughts there, but I'm not exactly sure what might have happened. I mean, is it that there was some mental aspect of, the pressure that got to Julien Alfred? Was there maybe something that occurred between the semis and the finals that, got to Julien Alfred? Was it something else that we just don't know? It was just so strange to watch her get run down like that, because we see Julien Alfred, she's more than capable of putting together a full race where you can argue she's one of the best starters in the world. She's a 60-meter indoor champion. She's she's the second fastest all time when it comes to the 60 meters as well. Like, we know she can get a good start, but we've also seen her execute all the phases of her race, the second half of her race. Look at what she just did at the Zurich Diamond League, where she was comfortable. She was like chewing gum. She ran 10.7, super comfortable. Like, now she ran 10.84 seconds. I mean, it's tough. I mean, coming off of her being an Olympic champion, maybe there was some pressure there, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out, like, what may have occurred, or even if she knows, what may have occurred. But that's an interesting dynamic. Now, fourth place, Shacarri Jackson, 10.88 seconds, equals her season's best. She looked good in the semifinals, but maybe I expected a little. I think I expected her to go a little bit faster. I'm not exactly sure. Of course, I didn't expect her to get on the podium. Y'all saw my predictions, but she did very well. I think all things considered, Shacarri did pretty well for what she was able to produce in this final, considering what occurred throughout the 2025 season. Shacarri Richardson. I think Shacarri Richardson did very, very well here. 10.94 seconds. Now, think about it. We had been saying all year, and this also applies to Shacarri Jackson, where many people had been saying, like, oh, Shacarri is finished. Oh, Shacarri shouldn't be in the conversation. Oh, Shacarri, is out of here. Like, why is she taking up a lane? Like, all these kind of things. But now she not only gets into the final, she finishes in 5th place, ahead of some of y'all favorite athletes, right? And I think this just, again, speaks to the point of how athletes are peaking for championships. Athletes are ensuring that they're going to be ready for a world championship final, or whatever they need to do to get through the rounds. They're ensuring that they're going to be ready. And someone like Shacarri, especially considering she's a defending world champion, so she didn't have to worry about, the USAs. She didn't have to worry about, qualifying. She was set and already had a lane. So she was going to be ready for the championships, and she got under 11 seconds for the first time, ran 10.94 seconds. And yes, I know some people are going to say, oh, she underperformed. Oh, she didn't run 10.8. Oh, she didn't run 10.7. Sure, but all things considered, relative to what she's done in 2025, there's a good performance. Now, a couple others. You had Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, 11.03 seconds in her final race of her entire career. 2025 world champs. Shout out to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, my GOAT of the 100 meters. One of, if not, I mean, I don't know, maybe she's my favorite athlete of all time. Like, she's one of the athletes that got me into the sport, and man, she's going to be very, very missed. Very, very missed. So for her to even get in this final, like, again, I'm gonna do a more in-depth analysis tomorrow, but like, or maybe I don't know, but the semifinals were crazy. And she was able to get in. Huge kudos to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Marie-Josée Tallou-Smith, Deena Asher-Smith, they unfortunately pulled up the end with 7th and 8th place. Man, really, really tough, but it is what it is, man. But just one big thing to note here is that there was there's, I guess, a changing of the guard, but also a really interesting split in this World Championship 100-meter final, where look at who you had. Melissa Jefferson Woodin, you had Tina Clayton, you had Julien Alfred, and you had Shacarri Richardson. Those 4 women are all 25 years old or younger, right? Shacarri Richardson, I think she's 25. She was a freshman in 2019. She's still extremely young and, relatively new to the scene. Her first global championships was 2023. Of course, she won USA's in 2021, but was DQ'd because of the weed disqualification, weed ban in 2021. You have Julien Alfred, just finished college in 2023, and this is only her second. This is her 3rd global championships and her 2nd medal, right? You have Tina Clayton, her first ever global championships, still 21 years old, and now she just gets on the podium. Melissa Jefferson Woodin, she just finished school in 2022, at Coastal Carolina, and now she's extremely young. She's, getting onto the podium for the 2nd time in her career. But contrast that with the other women in the race, where you have Shericka Jackson, you have Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, you have Marie-Josée Tallou-Smith, you have Deena Asher-Smith. What's interesting here is that many of these women, actually all of them except Shelly. So Shelly, she's been here for forever, right? She's literally been here since 2007, 2008 individually for the first time. But what I noticed is that Shericka Jackson, Marie-Josée Tallou-Smith, and Deena Asher-Smith all made their World Championship debuts at the 2015 Worlds in Beijing. That was the first time that we saw all those women, each of them. You saw Tallou-Smith, she was in the 100 meters. She didn't progress, out of the semifinals, I think. Of course, she didn't make the final. Shericka Jackson, she got a bronze medal in the 400 at those World Championships in 2015. And then Deena Asher-Smith, she got 4th place. I'm doing this off the top, but 4th place or 5th place in the 200 at those World Championships. And of course, Shelly-Ann, she won the gold medal in the 100, but she was well established at that point. So what I'm saying here is that there's so much of a contrast between the new guard, Melissa, Tina, Julien, Shacarri, and the old guard, quote unquote, with Deena, Shericka, Shelly, and Marie-Josée Tallou-Smith. Now, to be fair, Deena Asher-Smith is still extremely young, where she was young in 2015. She just was able to, really step up, at a very young age. But still, the fact that there's like a kind of a split screen in this women's 100-meter final was really, really telling and really, really interesting. Something that, definitely should be looked at. But shout out to Melissa Jefferson Woodin. Like, again, she had a legendary season that is one of the greatest seasons in the history of the women's 100 meters. Like, she's up there with some of the greats. 10.61 seconds, championship record, moves her to number 4 all time in the 100 meters. Melissa Jefferson Woodin, she is the one. Tina Clayton showing up. Shout out to Tina and representing Jamaica. 10.76, and then Julien Alfred getting her 2nd global championship medal. 10.84 seconds. Amazing performances across the board. Let me know what y'all thought about that 100 meters. Oof, crazy. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.